The digital currency Bitcoin is at a crossroads in 2013. While it's easier than ever to use and has gained popularity, it's also receiving new scrutiny from regulators, as we saw recently when the federal government cracked down on mt.gox and Foodler, which are two of the most popular platforms for Bitcoin. So today we're at Bitcoin 2013 in San Jose, where engineers, technologists, regulators, financial services professionals all are gathering to determine the future of Bitcoin. And here's what we learned. So one of the big talking points this week has been what happened with mt.gox and Foodler. Can you explain to us, generally what happened? What were they violating? Just kind of what went down there?
Yeah, a big deal was made about it right at first because there was a seizure and there was a little bit of freaking out. But the nice thing is, having read the warrant, the sky is not falling, right? It's not that big a deal. They failed to do some just basic registration with FinCEN and these things happen. But there's no emergency situation or anything like that.
The timing of it also was about a month and a half after the Treasury released this guidance indicating that all exchanges needed to be licensed. Gox did not do so, did not apply for the license, so I think they sort of put themselves in the crosshairs.
What do you think was the point when the federal government determined that, this isn't a fad, like this is real, we need to keep an eye on this? What do you think that kind of tipping point was?
Yeah, that's an interesting question. I don't know. I mean, I had predicted, 2014 to be the year of regulation, right? And so, as is typical in Bitcoin, everything moves faster than you expect. So it may have been the market cap of Bitcoin, right, exceeding $1 billion. I think that definitely got people's attention.
At what point exactly in a Bitcoin transaction does it become problematic from a legal point of view?
Well, in our country, we've received guidance from the Treasury on Bitcoin transactions, and unfortunately, it's a little foggy about exactly what's right and what's wrong. Some things that we do know. If you operate as a Bitcoin exchange, meaning that you exchange Bitcoin for dollars, then you're actually regulated by the Treasury and need to file them for a money service businesses license. Anyone less than that, it becomes a bit uncertain. Certainly a user of Bitcoin is not required to file anything.
So you guys are an exchange. How is it unique?
So Buttercoin is an open source exchange platform. So we're actually going to be trying to work with exchanges around the world to help give them a sound technical foundation, because that's been one of the biggest problems with the Bitcoin ecosystem is just they've had a lot of silly technical mistakes so far.
mt.gox recently had some trouble with the federal government. How does that affect what you guys do, and how do you plan on sort of avoiding those similar types of problems?
You have to play the regulatory game. If you want to create a place that people can trust, because this is a financial startup, what we're doing. A lot of people think of Bitcoin exchanges as technical companies, but they're not. They're primarily financial companies. And if you want to play the financial game, you have to play by the financial rules. And mt.gox decided not to play by those rules for whatever reason. We, however, Buttercoin, are going to play by all the compliance rules. And to be clear, this is all about making sure that people don't lose their money. We don't want anybody to have their money confiscated. We don't want bank accounts to close. And to do that, operating completely above board with full transparency with regulators is the way for people to be able to continuously, easily buy and sell their Bitcoins in a place they can trust.
Recently, you became the first food delivery service to accept Bitcoin. What led to that decision? Were you an enthusiast of Bitcoin beforehand?
Right, yeah, we're software engineers by nature, so we found that just technically it was interesting, wanted to get some experience with it, and then the business reasons followed. The fact that the transactions are reversible is useful to us, so we don't have chargeback risk, and the lack of merchant fees is also interesting for us.
So when you're out there advocating, in Washington, D.C. on how they can best regulate this, do you define it as a commodity or as a currency, or is it something else completely different?
Yeah, so it doesn't fit any of the definitions, right? And it doesn't fit them cleanly, it doesn't even fit them dirty. It really is a totally new thing, and we need to have a public-private partnership. We need to have a seat at the table with the regulators. I think it's everybody's dream that it would be totally unregulated, but it's not the reality. The reality is it's gonna get regulated. So we need to be there, we need to have a seat at the table and discuss these issues so that we can come to a good definition of what Bitcoin is and what it means for agencies and how they can fulfill their duties.
What would you say are the overarching goals of the Bitcoin Foundation?
The Bitcoin Foundation's purpose is to help make Bitcoin successful. And I mean, Bitcoin's success means more people using Bitcoin to pay for things, more people getting paid in Bitcoin.
From a technical point of view, I imagine that security is a major point that you probably work on. Can you talk a little bit about what stage that's at right now?
Sure. I mean, it's happily, things are getting better. There are actually several people showing hardware Bitcoin wallets that I think is really great. That, that's a nice physical device that is much harder to hack into than your computer or a cell phone. So there's lots of experimentation happening with, securing your Bitcoins that way.
All right, well, obviously a lot of questions still remain about what shape Bitcoin will take in the future, but it's definitely clear that it's not going away. So what do you guys make of all this? Let us know in the comments. For TFN, this is Annie.